Welcome. Thank you for your time. In this presentation, I'm going to be talking about increasing connection with others, nature, and self. I'm going to start by explaining how I came to study this, then I'll lay out the known emotional benefits of each relationship. And finally, I'll be teaching a few ways I've learned to reap these benefits, which focus on connection to nature and self. Of course, feel free to try any of these practices with others and see what happens. I came into Quest looking for ways of how to reverse destruction of natural systems. I spent a lot of time learning ways to do that, but what became increasingly concerning was that despite there being plenty of ways to do this, there was frighteningly low interest. People didn't seem to care. I almost left the school to focus on getting experience with land restoration and regenerative agriculture, but was convinced to stay and redirect my focus. By looking into ways to promote more compassionate treatment of nature, I could make headway on a different aspect of the same original goal, even if I had to completely shift disciplines. So how could I get people to be more kind to the planet? I figured I'd need to instigate change in how people understand and interact with it. A well-known and maybe obvious way this is done is by increasing nature connection. A gap I saw in the scholarship was how to basically sell nature connection to people. What could it do for them? How could I do more than just tell people they'd be happier and healthier if they were more connected to nature? I wanted to present something useful and simple that people could implement in their lives and quickly notice some benefits. At this point, you may be asking why connection? I came at connection with my background in systems thinking, specifically the resilience of living systems, where connectivity between and across scales is a known vital factor of resilience. So my perspective on this topic comes from an ecological, interconnected framework that recognizes people as nature who tend to have minds that tell them otherwise. Similar to an ecosystem, personal connection is a strong determinant of health. You've likely felt the importance of connection in your own life, to others, yourself, and nature, displayed this way here as a possible way to illustrate their interrelatedness. These have all been shown to promote well-being separately and together. In this presentation, I'll be highlighting a few ways to promote more connection to self and nature and how I came across them. In search of learning more about what nature connection could look like, I got in contact with an all-ages deep nature connection school called Wisdom of the Earth. I worked for them during the spring of last year and then later attended and helped out at their annual week-long event they've been putting on for about 5 years. Over the course of my time with them, I learned about the methods they used based around a model called 8 Shields. This model is informed by traditional knowledge from indigenous cultures who shared this knowledge with the intent for it to spread. If you'd like to learn more about their history, you can find it on their website, in their book Coyote Mentoring, and in my associated article. The most time-effective way of explaining who they are is to show you what they have in their About section on their website, which shows this graphic of the qualities they understand to emerge from connection, displayed as 8 attributes in a circle in reference to the 8 directions, which is where the 8 in their name comes from. Some of these attributes they're focused on promoting are inner happiness, empathy and respect for nature, and being truly helpful with one's gifts and vision activated. Beside the graphic, they state their intention, which is to reawaken these attributes in people and in turn, help heal the widespread disconnection with nature and loss of connective cultures worldwide. I was trying to figure out what and how to introduce Quest and the larger academic community to this model while also sharing something useful and tangible to whoever might be watching. I came up with qualities to meet these aims. I wanted what I was going to present to be accessible, simple, supported by science, and immediately beneficial. What fit the description was what they call core routines, activities that promote the attributes of connection mentioned in the previous slide. I chose 4 of the 14 routines that I found to have evidential proof of contributing to higher well-being. Once I had made that decision, I recognized some practices that I brought into my own life that fit those qualities well. This brings us to the threshold of my final goal of sharing these practices with others. Tell a story. From writing in a journal or in online chats to storytelling to a crowd. Don't shy away from this timeless practice, and just be sure your audience is consenting. Make some music. I used to be apprehensive about singing and playing instruments, but you don't need to be any good to feel the benefits. Again though, pick your audience. Plants love it when you sing to them. Sit spot, as the co-founder of Wisdom of the Earth would say, is the one core routine to do if you're only going to do one. This routine consists of going to the same spot under about 5 to 10 minutes from where you live as frequently as possible. The point here is to grow an attachment to the life that populates the surroundings of your spot, while allowing the life to grow accustomed to your presence. There is no need for it to be an idyllic, untouched, natural setting. There is plenty of life in urban parks and otherwise. My main sit spot right now is under a cedar tree in the front yard of my parents' house, and although I've been moving around a lot in the past year, I make sure to have a sit spot wherever I might be calling home. Before you get carried away thinking about where your sit spot will be, I invite you to try one of these routines right now. Place your attention on the center of your chest while breathing and activate a sensation of appreciation or gratitude by thinking of something like coming home to a pet. Right now, I'm thinking about how awesome it is that you're watching this presentation. What you're doing is called heart-focused breathing, a technique developed by the HeartMath Institute to promote a phenomenon they discovered, which they call heart-brain coherence, which calms the nervous system and increases heart rate variability, which is a strong indicator of physiological well-being. They suggest you do this sort of breathing in and out of your heart, for about 5 minutes. The more general routine of expressing gratitude was used to open and close the day at Wisdom of the Earth. Independently, gratitude has been shown as a great way for individuals to choose to improve well-being. Earthing is simply the act of placing your bare feet on the ground, yielding immediate reductions in inflammation, calming your nervous system. I do this as often as possible and have even bought shoes that have a copper stud on the bottom to keep my body electrically grounded. The Wim Hof method is characterized by deep breathing and exposure to cold. His breathing technique consists of 30 deep breaths from the belly, followed by holding your breath out for as long as you can, usually starting around a minute or two. This has been shown to increase emotional regulation and thus well-being. To learn more, just type his name into any search engine. I don't want to delay you trying out one of these right now, so I'll keep this part short. This presentation plays a vital part in my original goal because it is here that I have been able to share these practices I have found, which benefit people and the environment by increasing nature connection. The evidence strongly suggests that this changes how people relate to nature, which will improve how people treat it and thereby contributes in some small way to a desire held by many, which is building a future that supports natural systems. What I have shown through this presentation is that improving mood can be done through accessible means like the ones I have passed on here. You could even do one now after this presentation. Maybe you're curious about the 8 Shields model and what the other 10 routines are. I'll be honest, I haven't been disciplined about doing these practices, but I've still experienced benefits and can definitely say that after a few months of these, I feel calm, compassionate, and content more often and for longer. These also have the added benefit of likely having downstream positive influences on the environment, as new or very old feedback cycles are strengthened, which contributes to system-wide resilience through connectivity. Remember to keep an open mind, a loving heart, and pure intent. Thank you for watching.